Forgiveness takes so much strength. It's hard. It's not easy. And sometimes we think that we're not worthy of being forgiven. I spent many years resenting my parents for the way that I grew up. It wasn't until I had children of my own that I began to understand the concept of generational trauma and how my upbringing may have affected me in ways that I didn't even realize. I also became a lot more forgiving of my parents because I realized they're human too. When I was growing up, my parents did the best that they could with what they knew. My dad grew up in a very strict household with a lot of physical punishment, and when he became an adult, he started drinking. I remember as a kid catching him sometimes in the kitchen with a bottle of whiskey trying to pour his heart out to my mom. I used to hear them fighting a lot, so when I became a teenager, I vowed to myself that I would never let a boy treat me the way that my dad treated my mom. I told myself that I would never get married. I just wanted to prove to myself that I didn't need a man to be happy. And I ended up getting married at 21. I felt like I wasn't ready, but I thought if I could just push through it, then I'd be okay. And I had my first child when I was 23. Looking back now, I can see that I was acting out a lot of the unresolved pain that I had inside of me. And I was lucky if I could go a day without crying. I felt really bad about myself. I hated who I was. I felt like I wasn't a good person. I was always angry. I didn't know how to control my emotions. And I remember thinking to myself, why do I feel this way? Like, why am I not happy? Why is it so hard for me to forgive my parents for the way that they treated each other? I had my second child when I was 26. And by that time, I had already done a lot of therapy and self-reflection work. So I was determined to break the cycle of behavior and be the mother that I always needed. When my son was just a few months old, I remember looking at him and thinking, wow, like this tiny human being chose me to be his mom. And I felt so much love in that moment. And it made me think, well, if this is how I feel about him, maybe I was always this way. Maybe it wasn't my fault that I grew up the way that I did. Maybe my parents were just doing the best that they could. Maybe they were just doing their best with what they knew. And that gave me a lot of peace. And I hope that you can find it in your heart to forgive your parents too. Because they're human, too. They make mistakes. They're doing the best that they can with what they know. And you're doing the same. Thank you all for watching.